Hi everybody, I'm Amy from Neurotic Mom Bakes and welcome to my kitchen. I am so excited for today's tutorial because I'm showing you my favorite thing that I love to do in the kitchen, and that is decorating cakes. And I'm going to walk you through from start to finish making my, I call it my strawberries and cream cake. I'm using my red velvet cake layers, I'm using my cream cheese frosting, and it'll have an ombre colored effect with pink frosting, a chocolate drip, and we'll finish it off with some chocolate dipped strawberries. So I'm really excited you could be here for this one today. To get started, I have my turntable and I have my cake board that I've taped down on my board. And then I'm gonna I always put these little cardboard rounds, they're the same size, slightly bigger, because the cake shrinks in the oven, slightly bigger than the cake itself. But you'll see why I use that in a minute here. Number one, if you want to transfer the cake to a platter using a cake lifter, like if you wanted to move it off this whiteboard, you can easily just stick it underneath this cardboard piece. But then also, I'm going to use a top piece and show you how I get a really clean edge on the top of the cake. I'm going to tape that down so it doesn't move. And I've mentioned before in some of my videos that I never make my cake layers the same day as I decorate a cake. I always make cake layers ahead of time and I store them in the freezer. Otherwise I would be baking all day long, and it's just, they stay great in the freezer. So I'm gonna pull out my 3 red velvet cake layers, and I'm just looking at them because I want to find the one that has the best top for my clean edge. I'm thinking that one does. Okay, and I'm going to use this one for my bottom layer. So to get started, I prepped my buttercream ahead of time too. Just makes it easier. So I've got some cream cheese buttercream, which goes really well with red velvet cake layers. And I'm going to put a little on the bottom and just make sure it's exactly centered. Now I'm gonna put that in the freezer for like 3 minutes, just so it doesn't slide around. And while I'm doing that, let me show you some of the tools that you're going to need. I have these bench scrapers, and I find them on Amazon, and they're the cheapest ones I've found, and I think they honestly work the best. I think they're $1.99. And I buy several of them because I like to use a clean one each time I go around the cake. I've also got offset spatula and a regular straight spatula. I have a few of those as well. I always keep some clean rags nearby because you're going to need to wipe the spatula off. And let's see, what else do I need? Put that away. I've got my drip bottle that I'll use later for my drip. I find these just at Hobby Lobby. But it works great for the drip, and I think that's all I'm gonna need. For the pink frosting that I'm doing the ombre effect, I'm going dark to light. I just colored some buttercream in 3 different colors, dark pink, medium, and a light pink, and I've put them in piping bags. I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. All right, let me get this out. Really, you just need a couple minutes just so it doesn't slide all around. I'm gonna start stacking my cakes and do the outer crumb coat layer of the cake. Now I'm gonna just do a fun design with the buttercream inside the cake. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna cut into this one at the end so you can see. I'm gonna do a ring of the white, and then a ring of pink, and white again. This is just fun when you cut into it. There's a little design, and pink. And then I'm gonna get my next layer. I always get eye level. Perfect, just like that. Now I'm gonna do the reverse on this layer. So I'm gonna start with the pink, do a ring of buttercream, Pink, white, pink, come out to the edge here a little bit more, and white. Okay, and my third layer, my top layer, I will always turn upside down so you get the clean edge and get eye level with my cake. Now, this is only 3 layers and I'm not stacking anything on top, so you do not need to put dowels or straws in this. It will hold up just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do my, let's see, I'll need that. I'm gonna do my outer crumb coat. So just a thin layer of buttercream, and this just seals in all the crumbs. Oh, and then something else I always get asked, if I let my cakes come to room temperature to decorate, and the answer is no. I decorate them chilled or completely frozen. It's so much easier. Let's go around. Okay, we're gonna start with that. See how much coverage I get. You just need a thin layer. It seals in all the crumbs, because you will still get some. Go ahead and fill in the gap right there. Now, if it's sliding around a bit and it's making you nervous, before you do the crumb coat and just after you've stacked them, it's okay to put that back in the freezer for 10 minutes and let the inner buttercream freeze up, and then it won't slide as much when you're doing your crumb coat. But I've just done this so much that I can manage it for the most part. Just kind of fill in the spaces where it needs more. I try not to waste. I try to make a little go a long way. All right, I see one more kind of a big gap just right there. It'll just help with the outer coat if you get it mostly filled in. One more time. Now this is gonna go in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes or longer, overnight if you need to. If you're decorating it another day, in fact, I've crumb coated cakes and left them in the freezer for a few days for decorating. I'm just going to kind of level the top off with my offset spatula. Just pull it in, get level with the top of the cake, and pull it in. Make sure you wipe it off in between. That'll help with the clean edge as well. Okay, going in the freezer after I just get the excess off the bottom there. Perfect. Yep, it's level, it's straight. All right, I've got my chilled cake that has been in the freezer for at least 15 minutes to get the crumb coat nice and hard. And now I'm gonna do the outer coat of the buttercream, and I'm going to do a really fun and pretty pink ombre effect. So I have my 3 different colors of buttercream, and I'm not going for perfect stripes. This is all gonna be kind of blended together. So I'm gonna start on the bottom, nice and thick. You wanna get it on there pretty thick. I'm just gonna go 2, let's go 2 for now. And I'm gonna go with the lighter pink. There we go. And then the lightest pink, and then I'm gonna finish using up this bag of white. I have some more. Finish with the white buttercream. Okay, now if you like it like this, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I'm gonna do the one pass, and I'm gonna give you two different options for this ombre effect. You wanna try to go all the way around in one. Now see right there I have, you know, fairly distinctive stripes, but that's not the look I'm going for. If you like that, leave it and you can just patch and scrape and patch and scrape. But I kind of want it to blend together. So I'm gonna get my spatula and I'm gonna just go around like this, where those two different colors meet. I'm gonna do it there, and then I'm gonna do it again. Doesn't have to be in any particular way. And then right there on between the light pink and the white. Because I just kind of want it to be a gradual blending. And I'm just gonna turn this over and use the clean side. And I'm gonna go around again. Now, unfortunately, this kind of, you know, you could save this and blend it all together and make it one pink color for something else, for cupcakes, but I do need to just set that aside because there's really not an easy way to reuse that. Instead, I'm gonna get what I have left in my piping bags, and see those holes right there? I'm gonna fill those in, and you can even do it with, you know, a couple different colors so it blends a little bit. And you can kind of go up and down. I'm gonna get the white right here. Just fill it in. And then we'll go around again. And you just keep doing this over and over until it's as smooth as you want it to be and as blended as you want it to be. See, I want it a little bit more blended. It's still too distinctive, the stripes, for me. All right, turn my scraper over. Let's go around again. I totally forgot this part, but if you wanted to put the cardboard on top before doing this, you go for it. You can do it, but you don't have to. And obviously, since I forgot mine, I'm doing it without. But I don't use a top cardboard very much anymore because I've gotten pretty good at getting the clean edge without it. But definitely as a beginner, you would want to use it. I'm gonna do a lighter pink right here. Okay, you see how it's, now it's really blending how I want it to. That's the look I was going for. And it's becoming nice and smooth. I like how it's coming together. Let me get my white and fill it in. Okay, I'm going to push it out, the buttercream out over the edge a little bit. That's totally fine. Just going to get it as smooth as I can. There we go. Pick up another scraper and I'm going to kind of hold it away. If I push it right against, then this will dig a line in there. So I don't want that. So I'm just going to gently hold that bottom part away from the cake while I scrape this top part. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. There we go, nice and smooth. Now I will get my offset spatula and a clean rag. And this is where I will just drag it in. Another option is you can freeze it at this point and you can get a really hot knife and just cut that top part around. I've done that before. But I've practiced this enough that I can get a pretty clean edge by doing this. And it's faster, it's just one less step. Okay, before I add my drip and other decorative elements, I'm going to put this in the freezer for at least 15 minutes. All right, I just pulled my cake out of the freezer. Another question I get asked a lot, I thought I would just quickly explain, how do I clean up the bottom of my boards so there's not all that frosting on the bottom? It's really easy. The buttercream is frozen, so it's easy to work with, and I just get a spatula and I'll just kind of scrape that buttercream off. And you see how easy it just pulls right off. Right, and then I'll just kind of sweep it into the garbage. So that's really easy, but then I'll get a clean rag and I'll kind of just wipe the board a little bit. And then to get close to the cake, I'll put that rag over and just kind of, you can do a butter knife too. I'll kind of run it along the board. And again, you don't have to leave the cake on the cake board. If you want to get one of those big cake lifters and lift it while it's frozen, that is another option. But I like to keep it on the board because I can give it to people and they don't have to worry about returning a cake platter or anything like that. Okay, we're ready to make the drip. For the drip, you're going to make a ganache, and all that is heavy whipping cream and some chocolate. I'm using dark chocolate today. Good quality chocolate, like Ghirardelli. I would recommend, I'm using the C's chocolate drops. For milk and dark chocolate, the ratio is about 2 to 1. So I'm pouring in about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of heavy whipping cream. And I'm going to heat that up in my microwave for only about 15 seconds. You just want it warm, you don't want it hot. Chocolate, if it gets too hot, will separate and seize and it'll be all grainy and it's just no good. So you want to warm it gradually. So I'm just going to let that heat up just a bit. And I've gotten really good at eyeballing, but if you wanted to measure out exactly 1/3 of a cup of cream and then 2/3 of a cup of the chocolate. And it also depends on how thick or thin you want your drip. I like it to be a little thicker. And you can adjust as you go, and I'll show you, because this probably won't be perfect the first time around. Now you can just let that sit for like 5 minutes and let it melt a little bit more, or if you only do like 8 or 9 seconds at a time, you can do that in the microwave. But again, don't overheat the chocolate. Just a little at a time. Starting to come together. I'm gonna let that continue just to kind of sit. And then I'll check the consistency in a minute, but before I do that, I just wanted to tell you where I find my drip bottles, because I get asked that a lot. Any local craft store, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, I've seen them at Walmart in the baking section. You could use a ketchup or mustard bottle as well. That will work. Let's check this. Oh yes, it's coming together. Yeah, see how it's nice and shiny and very smooth. That is exactly what I'm going for. And you just keep stirring until it's all the way melted. I'm gonna I'll lift my spoon up. Now this is kind of running off my spoon fairly quickly, and for me, I like it just a little bit thicker than that. I'm just gonna add a few more pieces, not a lot, because it was pretty close. And I'm gonna stick it back in for 9 seconds. Okay, that's starting to kind of drop off my spoon, which is what I want. There's still a few pieces that aren't fully melted in there, and by the time they are, I think it'll be the exact right consistency. Just keep stirring until think that's gonna be good. You want it, all those pieces fully melted because they will get stuck and you don't want that. You kind of only have one shot on the drip. That is beautiful. It's exactly what I want. Okay, now I'm gonna get this in my drip bottle. And it is the perfect consistency. It's not running, pouring out, but it's still smooth, fairly thick, but I'll be able to squeeze it out of the bottle. That's my personal preference. If you like the kind that drips all the way down to the bottom, then add just a hair more cream. You can do that. Okay, we are ready to go. I like to hold my bottle at a 45-degree angle, and you can space them out however you want. You can put the drips close together. You can space them far apart. If you push longer, it'll go farther. If you push less, it'll drip less far down the cake. And I just kind of vary the lengths. Going around. Oh, that is a good consistency. I like it. Okay, and then I will swirl it around the top. I will get a spatula and just kind of spread it around, push it to the edges, and stick this back in your freezer for another 5 or 10 minutes. You don't want to put the swirls on now because they will run off. This is warm chocolate. It will slide off. I'm gonna just do my little swirl here. Yay, that's so, I love it. Okay, back in the freezer. All right, this is the best part. We're going to add the final touches to this cake. I have some white buttercream in here, and I'm just gonna do good old-fashioned just swirls. I also have my dipped strawberries here, and they've been in the fridge, and we're gonna decorate with those on top. Okay, I think I'm just going to do 6 swirls today because I'm gonna put a strawberry in each swirl, and they're pretty big. So 8 swirls, I don't think I would be able to fit all those strawberries on. So, because there's 6, I'm gonna make them a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna go opposite that first one. And then I'm gonna put 2 in between the first 2. And now if you wanted to embellish with sprinkles, you could do that. But I'm just going to leave this simple and elegant. There we go. Let's pick our strawberries. I think I'm gonna alternate the 2 different kinds. I'm just gonna place one down. I'm gonna pick similar sizes. Oh, there we go. No, you know what? I'm gonna stick to the stripy ones. Do the straight ones. Keep it uniform. It's a nice big one. Let's do that. Okay, that one is done. If you wanted to stick some more in the middle there, you could, but I think we're just gonna leave it like this. I cannot wait to cut into this one. Okay, my friends, we are ready to slice this up. So here we go. Cold cake, hot knife, that's the best way to slice a cake. I'm nervous. I don't cut my cakes very often because I usually give most of them away, or they're for, I don't know, an event or something. It's a little bit, still a little bit frozen. If you're gonna serve this, keep it in the freezer or fridge and take it out a couple hours before eating. Let's go for this. Okay. All right, let's see what this buttercream did. I hope this comes up. Oh yes, oh my goodness. Okay, now the cake is still a little bit frozen. That's why it looks like that, but look at the buttercream. That turned out. I like that. Yeah, well, you're in the video now. Do you want a bite of cake? Yeah. Okay, come here. Let's have a bite of cake. Should we taste it? Still a tiny bit frozen, but it still tastes really good. Got to get that frosting in there. What do you think? Okay, my friends, I hope this tutorial was helpful. I hope that you'll try this at home. I try to make my videos easy to follow and for every level of baker out there. I would love, if you made this, I would love to see pictures. You can send them to me on my Instagram at Neurotic Mom, or give me any feedback you have, questions, comments, anything here on YouTube. And I'm so glad you were here today. I hope you enjoyed this one.